Is vaping causing seizures? Our top story tonight on Vapor Alert, we look at a new report coming out of the Associated Press and the FDA claiming that the US is investigating seizure risk with e-cigarettes. Welcome to Vapor Alert. Let's get vaporized. All right, so we're going to basically focus on this one story today on Vapor Alert because I think it's really important and really interesting. It highlights a bunch of stuff. I mean, it talks about just the disingenuous media, the corruption of the FDA, their sort of agenda around it, as well as are there potential risks involved with seizures and e-cigarettes. So getting into this story here, I'm reading it from the AP, but it's been reported by almost every news organization out there. U.S. investigates seizure risk with electronic cigarettes. U.S. health officials are investigating whether electronic cigarettes may trigger seizures in some people who use the nicotine vaping devices. The FDA said Wednesday it has reviewed 35 reports of seizures among e-cig users, mainly in young people. By the way, this is from 2009 up until now, so almost 10 years of use. There's only been 35 reports of seizures from vaping. Cases go back to 2010 and were reported to the FDA or poison control centers around the country. Regulators said they detected an uptick in reports beginning mid-2018. While they represent a tiny fraction of Americans who have used e-cigarettes, many safety issues with food, supplements, and other consumer products can go unrecognized because reporting is voluntary. Now, if we look over at CNBC's reporting on it, they bring up some interesting points. Gottlieb began saying, "We want to be clear that we don't know if there's a direct relationship between the use of e-cigarettes and the risk of a seizure." And then here, in some instances, people were using e-cigarettes for the first time. In others, they were regular users. Some seizures occurred after a few puffs, and others occurred up to 1 day after people vaped, the FDA said. A few people had prior history of seizures. In some cases, people had also used other substances like marijuana and amphetamines. The FDA said several factors may lead to seizures, such as some e-cigarette designs allowing people to get huge amounts of nicotine quickly, or some people deliberately inhaling more nicotine than normal. Also, the seizures may have been triggered by something else, like an underlying medical condition or other substance. Quote, "We're sharing this early information with the public because as a public health agency, it's our job to communicate about potential safety concerns associated with the products we regulate that are under scientific investigation by the agency." So that's the story there. There's 35 cases from 2010 all the way up to 2019. There's been only 35 cases. In those 35 cases, the big point here is that some of these users were first-time users. Some of them were regular users. Some had history of seizures. Some were also using other products like marijuana and amphetamines. And they just really don't know if there is an actual link between vaping nicotine, specifically vaping nicotine. And I want to make that distinction clear. Specifically vaping normal nicotine e-liquids. We don't know if they're Juuls. We don't know if they're sub-ohms. We don't know if they're ego pens. We don't know any of the devices used. We don't know the amount of nicotine used. We know nothing. There has been no tracking of exactly what these devices were, what substances were in these devices, and how they were used. So what I want to bring up, and it feels like this is a recurring theme with Vapor Alert lately, but it's again the case of C-liquid. What is C-liquid? It's essentially synthetic marijuana. So you're basically getting like that K2 or that spice, but it's in a vapor form. The reason I bring that up is because there are a lot more reports of synthetic marijuana and these research chemicals causing seizures and violent withdrawals than there are with just nicotine causing seizures. In my own personal experience with these synthetic research chemicals, I basically got a seizure using them. There was a story about this teen and his family blaming Juul, and we talked about this story a couple times, but he was getting violent withdrawals to the point where he was selling all of his mom's stuff, and he was also exhibiting seizures, and that was when they said enough's enough, we need to figure out what's going on here. Again, these are very common symptoms with synthetic cannabis. And if we look again at that paragraph, there has been some cases where people had other substances in their body like marijuana and amphetamines. So it's not that far of an idea to think that maybe these people were thinking they were either purchasing THC vape pens, and what they got were these C-liquid or synthetic cannabis vape devices. There's also been reports of people thinking they're purchasing CBD vape products when in fact there are these research chemicals within them. Because of this number being so low, I think it's a lot more likely that these people are purchasing these CBD products or these THC products when in fact they're getting these synthetic cannabinoid vape products. And I mean, it doesn't matter. You can have one experience with it where you have a seizure. You can wait a couple days, use it again, and then have a seizure. It's really unknown because you just do not know the dosage you're getting with these products. It's just, they're so dangerous and so unregulated that these products can just deliver either extremely high doses or extremely low doses. Now, they're saying that there's been more of these reports lately. There's been more of these seizures happening lately, which is interesting because I don't want to leave out the possibility that it could be these highly efficient, high-dose nicotine salts. Again, it's such a low number, it's really hard to find any sort of causation. The big point to me is that the fact that they put this out there is really disingenuous because they do not know. They do not know if there's a link between vaping, safe nicotine vapor products, and seizures, and there's just no tracking on this. There's no data whatsoever. We do, like I said, we don't know what products were used, what milligrams of nicotine they're using, what wattage they're using at. We know nothing about exactly how these people were consuming or using or whatever they were consuming in these products. Now, could it be that the FDA is really just trying to sling a few more arrows into vaping to allow more of their regulatory response to come later? It's hard to say because the FDA is known to do stuff like this. They're known to put out just false material. They're known to just lie. They're a very corrupt organization. So you just cannot trust anything that the FDA says. And again, we're looking at 35 cases out of the millions of people who vape every single day for the last 10 years. There's only been 35 known cases. And of those 35 cases, some of them were already predisposed to getting seizures. Some of them also had other substances in their body like marijuana and amphetamines. So it's just kind of ridiculous. It's even lower of a number. It's such an outlier that for them to put this information out there is just, it's a little suspect. It's a little suspect. The only thing that interests me is that they claim that there was an uptick recently in the past 2 years, from 2018 to 2019. There's been an uptick in these cases. I don't know, man. It's crazy that they went out and put this information out there, fear-mongering, for almost no data whatsoever. They basically just said, hey, some people had seizures and these people also vaped. So maybe the two are linked. I don't know. We want to put it out there. We want people to be safe. Maybe they're linked. We have no idea. We don't even know if they're vaping the same vaping products that are legal. We know nothing, really. We just know that they had a seizure and they vaped. You could say the same about, fucking soda or water or, sweetener or anything. These people had seizures and they also ate turkey sandwiches. So just want to let you know, if you eat a turkey sandwich, there could be a 1 in 32 million chance that you could have a seizure. It's so stupid, man. It's stupid that we have to deal with this, but I did want to focus on this main story because I did want to let you guys know again that the C-liquid is an issue. There are reports of people purchasing products that they think are either THC or CBD products or not even either, just regular vaping products, and they're in fact containing these research chemicals. So you want to be careful of that. You want to purchase from reputable places. You want to purchase from reputable companies or just make your own. And I just kind of wanted to touch on this a little bit because it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. If you like Vapor Alert, make sure you check out the Facebook page where we update it every single day with all stories about vaping, the vaping industry, vaping advocacy, legislation, any news or drama pertaining to vaping. Vapor Alert it's got you covered. Chris does an amazing job. So go over there and just follow the page. You don't have to interact. We just post the stories up for you. And then every week I'm going to talk about some of the big stories. And that's what Vapor Alert is. So I hope you like it.